So I want to start with a disclaimer. I am not an actuary. Actually, I do way more stuff in differential equations. My background it is in mathematical biology. I work a lot in epidemiology. Have a lot of training in statistics, and that's kind of how I end up doing actuarial science because of my particular background in statistics. Um, so I have been the coordinator of our actuarial science program for the last 8 years. At the beginning, informally, later, formally. So I do interact a lot with the corporate world in my position now. Um, so I am just trying to find an easy way to see the chat at the same time that I have my screen very big. Okay. So in case you have questions, I can see it. I will do my best to try to answer questions in the chat too. But since I am also presenting, it will be maybe
Oh, I'll look for some.
perfect. Thank you. Um, so before I start, a lot of the information that I am going to present come from the both societies of actuarial science, the Society of Actuaries and the Casualty Actuarial Society that put a lot of this information outside, and also GIS, that is the honor society for the insurance world. And I heavily involved with OLA, that is the Organization for Latino Actuaries. So, oh, well, what are actuary do's? So, well, let's start by, well, let's hope that actuaries never go in a strike because we will have to figure it out what they do. Like, uh, kind of a common thing is very few people know what actuaries do. It's not something of common knowledge. So that's one of the things that I want to kind of talk to you. So actuaries are experts in evaluating the likelihood of future events and think about cool ways to reduce the likelihood of things that are not good. When they cannot decrease that, well, hopefully they can decrease at least the impact of those. Now, to be able to do that, of course, what they need math. Everything that actuaries do come in the way of math, mathematics, statistics, computer science, but it is a heavily mathematical field. No, it's a mathematical field inside the business world. So you need to understand the business world that you belong, uh, but also understanding human behavior could be quite important. But pretty much everything that actuaries do is manage risk in one way or another. Now, what it is risk? So risk it is the chance that an undesirable event will occur. And we usually associate risk with bad things. But risk, it also brings opportunity. Risk bring us possibilities to think outside the box and create new things. Uh, so just to an example of what's currently happened. Uh, some people think about, well, vaccines for COVID-19, well, developed so fast. Well, yes and no. Yes, there was a need, an immediate need. There was a risk, so people have to step in. But also, there was a lot of science behind the scenes happening before COVID exists, actually. So risk is always an opportunity. But what actually is doing a day by day, it is quantify risks. That it is what actuaries do. Now, when you think about risk, we associate that mostly with insurance. We think about the different types of insurance. So you think about your car insurance, your health insurance. Actually, pensions is in some way some insurance. Um, and even though actuaries mostly work in the insurance world, they work in a lot of different places. They can be in the consulting world, in the government, even in some colleges and universities, bank and investment firms. I also using them. So when we think about actuaries, kind of the normal thing was to think about this type of companies, like our regular insurance companies. And probably some of these names are very familiar for to you, probably some of them not as much. But I hope that you're familiar with the Travelers, the Allstate, that is State Farm, the Liberty. Those are places that we see commonly happen on. But nowadays, there are other types of company that needs quantification of risk. Uh, I was recently in a talk and about how Tesla is creating a whole division of actuaries. Uh, all this push for self-driving cars is going to have uh, an humongous amount of opportunities for people that can manage risk. So Tesla is hiring actuaries, Uber, Lyft, even Google right now, it is hiring for actuaries. Because they have a pretty cool skill set that comes from their mathematical background. Like mathematicians are heavily skilled in these ideas. Now, why actuarial science? And this is not only necessary from actuarial science, but any work as mathematician. It's an intellectually challenging degree. Like you need to solve problems um, frequently. Uh, you can make a difference through numbers. Uh, it is not only doing the numbers for the numbers, the algebra, the calculus, the differential equation, the stochastics, the statistics, uh, but you can change people's life with these high impact careers, and of course real life applications. Now, if you're a student and you're thinking, well, think about why become an actuary. So there are a couple of very interesting ideas. It's a very top ranked job. And sometimes people, when think about top ranked jobs, think about only about salary. And I will touch a little bit about that, but it is more than that. And that comes from what I was talking a moment ago. Uh, you have the possibility to have an impact in people's life. You have the possibility to really apply your mathematical skills. Job security is actually pretty good in these times that we have an economy that is having a lot of issues. Uh, uh, in my program, I was looking, there was very small impact in the placement of my students in actuarial science because risk is present in good economy or in bad economy. So actuaries are needed in both times. Now, that means that they are going to be always available and have always jobs. Now, it's a profession that it is significantly changing, especially now with big data, data analytics. Uh, but it's a profession that have some job security. Um, Starting, it is a profession that usually doesn't need grad school. Most actuaries start with a bachelor's degree. And from my conversations and from what I know, it's a pretty good life balance. Actually, work hard, but also have the opportunity to enjoy life. Now, what I would suggest is don't listen to me. There are plenty of rankings, plenty of um, publicity about this. Like recently in 2018, actuarial science was number one in a study from Bankrate about the most valuable college majors. CNN also, not as recently, but also put it as one of the best jobs that you can have. Bloomberg also has been talking about how this is a pretty cool job. Now, I want to also go to our US Bureau of Labor Statistics, where they talk about different career paths. And there you can find about actuaries. And kind of what I want to point out, all the numbers that they have here, it is if you go here below, job outlook from 2019 to 29. So what that means, like, so the project percentage change in employment from 2019 to 2029, the average growth rate for all occupations is 4%. We are seeing that for actuarial science, according to them, is going to be 18%. That it's actually pretty good. Uh, Also, from the same institution, how salaries of actuaries compare to other mathematicians. So you can see that the median, be careful about that, is the median. It is a little bit higher than what you can expect in other mathematical areas. Uh, how to become an actuary? So take math, take as much math as you can. Okay, hopefully you can be at a university or a college that have a actuarial science program, but that's not a requirement. I know plenty of actuaries that has been going to places that don't have an actuarial science program, but that significantly helps. And I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about actuarial exams. So having your degree in actuarial science is going to be useful, is going to be helpful, but it's going to be not as useful if you don't have actuarial exams. So the societies of actuarial science require that you pass some examinations during your career to be able to be a credential actuary. So for college students, kind of the expectation is that when you are finishing your college degree, you have two exams. The first two exams are the exam P, that it is the probability exam, and the other one is FM, that is the financial mathematics exam. You can take either of them first. Those are hard exams, but they are not impossible. As any standardized test, there are two pieces. You need to know the material, but you need to get ready for those exams. You need to learn how they work, how to um, study for them. That is actually very, very, very important. There are plenty of resources outside, many of good tools to help you study for that. So that's very important. Like if you are interested in actuarial science, kind of a critical thing, it is exams. You need to pass some exams during your college career. Now, if you remember at the beginning, I talked about the importance of mathematics, statistics, computer science, but also that all of that belong to the corporate world, to the business world. Uh, so even though actuarial science is a very technical career path, they belong to the corporate world. So communication skills are absolutely critical. Um, if you develop a pretty cool mathematical model or a statistical model and you are not able to explain that in simple terms to the people that are going to make decisions, that's going to be useless. So I cannot reinforce enough the idea of the importance of your communication skills. You need to know how to uh, talk about your mathematics. So if you are a college student, please think about being a tutor. Take as many classes where you have to do presentations. Go present your research in mathematical conferences. Take communication classes. For sure, at your school, there is going to be a writing class, a speaking class that is not required for your gen take an extra step for those communications skills. And of course, try to take classes that allow you to understand the business that you're interested. So if you are interested in the insurance world, maybe take a microeconomics class, macroeconomics class. But if you're interested in the accounting world, maybe dive in some of that. If you're more interested in the health insurance world, try to learn more a little bit about that. So even though as mathematicians our more important skills or our the place that we feel more comfortable is in the technical part, the math, the stats, the computer science. It's very important that we move outside that so we understand the type of problems that we are dealing with. If you want to know more about actuarial science, the best website that you can go it is beanactuary.org. This is an website put together by both the Society of Actuaries and the Casualty Actuarial Society, the two major actuarial societies. Where it will tell you more about what is an actuary, what is actuarial science, how do I get started. And I think I am right on time. So I really want to thank the organizers for the invitation to be part of this. And that being said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me here. Feel free to email me. I will be more than happy to talk with you. So, Brian, I think that I was just on time
Well,
for.
yeah, I thank you very much, Marco. I think the presentations will be recorded, and so within several weeks, 3 weeks or so, you can send your students to this SIMIODE YouTube, and you can look at the video and get the resources. We don't have any specific questions yet. I do want to say how excited you got when you expressed how they should take communications course. I could see you kind of jumping up a little bit in your seat and stressing that. I believe that's absolutely true. And the other thing is that years ago in the 70s, I had an alumni come back to the college I was teaching at, and he was in charge of setting the premium for GM's dental insurance. One price to GM Auto Union for the dental. You think about the complexity of how you would price and roll it out and what you would allow. And Marco was talking about learning about health science. They sent actuaries back to dental school to learn about new procedures, which would either cut costs or increase costs. So it is complex. It is, we all know that when we get on an airplane and if the person next to us asks what we do, and if we say we're in math, they all start talking about not balancing their checkbook. I think if they say actuary, they just probably look at you with a stare until you start describing it, and it's very interesting. How many students do you have in a college of your size that pursue that?
Just to give you a sense, I'm in a pretty small liberal arts college. We have 3,000 students total, and my major is around 60 to 70 students a year. That's
Wow.
kind of what we have right now.
That math majors or actuarial?
Actuarial science.
Wow. Okay. And they don't have any trouble getting jobs either, right? Yeah.
If they have, if they has been doing the right things, that means
yes, I agree.
good GPA,
Yeah.
good communication skills, exams. If they don't have exams, they don't have any chance.
Yeah.
But if students have two exams, a decent GPA, good communication skills, in the last 5-6 years, we have 100% job placement.
And the first exams are not statistics necessarily; they're calculus based. And
the first two exams, you can take them in any order. It can be probability that requires calculus.
okay.
The financial mathematics one requires very little calculus. You basically only need to know one integral and one sequence, and
Okay.
just theory of interest. That's basically what you need to do.